Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of Corner Taken Quickly. And this is a very special episode. We have among us three legends of, I would say, like the fans of Bangladesh, the football, the EPL fans. Anik Bhai, thank you, Anik Bhai, for coming.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you again to our show. And we also have our very own Kenan Bhai. Everyone knows Kenan Bhai. Kenan Bhai, thank you, the most senior City fan in Bangladesh, maybe. So,
Oh,
and
thank
we
you.
also have Kois Bhai. Thank you, Kois Bhai, for joining. You are a wonderful, wonderful guest, and it's really good to have you here. And today we have a very special show because it's a very friendly, show. I mean, three friendly rivals: Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool supporters. They're going, going to talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about the transfers. We'll talk about the EPL this year, and we'll also be talking about, the seasons and all the transfers that is going on around the world. So uh, I'll not waste any time. I'll directly come to Kenan Bhai. Kenan Bhai,
Hold on, Adit. I just want to
yes,
introduce Kenan Bhai in another way.
please.
Kenan
Anik
Bhai
Bhai.
is the only Bangladeshi City supporter before 2009.
Oh gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I thought
No.
it will take some time, but it has already started. Okay, that's let's just bring it on. Okay, Kenan Bhai, this is your first question, right? Manchester City, you have spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, a fantastic player. You went for Harry Kane, but Daniel Levy, we know how he is. You couldn't get him. Then you went for Ronaldo, and you didn't get him either. So how does it feel as a City fan, with all this money and all these players and all these, you have one of the best coach in the world, and still you don't get Kane and Ronaldo in your team.
Well, you got the facts wrong at it here because let me just Jack Grealish. I admit we went for him. He's a young player, youngish at 25, and if you notice the City's transfer policy over the last few years, it's been younger players now. We replaced all the older players that we had, like Gail Clichy. We had all the Joe Hart. Over time, we got rid of them. It was a deliberate policy getting younger players in, so you can serve 5, 7, 8 years at the club. Now, can I just clarify that with Ronaldo? Hold on, we didn't go for him. We never went for him. I mean, when I heard the news first, I know some of our global fans were very happy, but I was distraught. I was absolutely sick because I can't stand the sight of him, to be honest. Okay, I think he's quite overrated. And well, okay, I'll take
Years
that
of
back.
torment, makes you
I
feel
know.
like that. Mate.
But he's 36 years old. Do you really think that Pep would go for a 36-year-old? No. Have we gone for an old player? No, we haven't. Yeah, okay, you can make an exception maybe for Messi and Ronaldo, but he's never in the equation. You got to remember, also, Man United categorically mentioned that a week earlier that they're not going to sign they have no intention of signing Ronaldo because he was the one who's promoting himself. Oh, I'm leaving Juventus. We never went for him. He actually flirted with us. And his agent was
So,
really.
Kenan Bhai, you are saying that
What
he
about
played.
Kane? What about Kane? Are you denying that you guys were not interested in Kane?
Hold on, Anik. Let me finish on your golden boy. What's his name? Ronaldo. I'm on live now. As you mentioned, I call him something else. I don't call him Ronaldo or Ronnie.
I know.
Ronnie.
You call him something like which actually rhymes with grillish, the girlish. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, girling. Is that what you call it? Anyway, so we weren't going for him, and it was really surprised. Yes, but guess what? You know why he signed for United? He had no intention of signing him, but because he was going to be signing for City, only because of that, United came in. They weren't interested because they knew he's lost his legs. He's not as good as before. Okay. So what happened is the Glazers didn't want him to be sold to Man City. It's the last team in the world you want them to be sold to. Okay? So basically what would happen, then they signed him. They decided we're going to sign him. Who? Rio Ferdinand, Alex Ferguson, they all came out of retirement, from their hospital beds and all that. And, please call Ronaldo, beg him to come back to United. And Ronaldo and his agent, whatever his name is, that Mendes or whatever his name is, okay, they said, no one else is going to sign us. City aren't going to sign you. So let's go for United. They're willing to take you. And he goes, okay, I'll go back for a year before I go to the MSL. That's what happened.
That's what happened. Quite maddening, isn't it?
Yeah, Oni, you have something to say about this.
Yeah, I'm just asking him one question. Isn't it quite maddening to think that at least Manchester United had some persons who can come out of the retirement bed, whereas when it comes to Manchester City, I actually the legends of the game is like what statue of Vincent Kompany, which looks more like Wayne Rooney. Ooh, I am really
no way.
So that's where the legends are, mate. Yeah. That's what you call legends coming out to help their club. Sadly, City, that City doesn't have a legends match. City can't have a legends match.
Would not come out to beg to sign a 36-year-old who's in the final twilight of his career. No,
every year we have legends match. City tried. They couldn't find the players. Jeez, mate. Let's not even go into that, mate.
Okay, we will go into that.
What about Harry Kane, sir?
Yes.
Okay, let me just tell you. Harry Kane, very simply, yes, we were very interested. We needed a A-lister striker to replace the legend that is Kun Aguero. So we went for Harry Kane because he's a great goal scorer. Let's face it. I know he's 29 now, but he's still a superb with Premiership stats. Back it up. He's a fantastic striker. Now, City we will not be held to ransom. We won't. And I'm so glad our owners, our management team that looks into transfers are very, very strict about that. Now, we offered 120 million. We went up to 120 million. Now, Levy, as you know, being such a hard-nosed businessman as he is, he would let go of 150. And we said no. We walked away. Now, Kane also knew that we were walking away. And then, as soon as we said that, and he heard that we were going to walk away, he then said, I'm going to stay at Tottenham for another one season. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. I don't want to. My wife does not want to move to Manchester. It's too rainy there.
Yeah. Definitely read some newspaper which no one else reads. Only him. Only published for him.
But you know what? Actually, on Kenan's defense, right? The last time Manchester United got the player which City wanted to buy was Alexis Sanchez, and we remember what happened there.
The
thing is that when it comes to football, when it comes to football, basically, then history really rarely repeats itself. And Ronaldo being Ronaldo, we know what he can do. Even at the age of 36,
you haven't won the league for almost a decade.
Who's being sold for 100 was still the highest goal scorer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I want to bring a neutral here, right? I mean, Kois, he's been watching us, hearing us. So, Kois, what do you think about this thing, right? Like Ronaldo, he flirted with City, and then something happened, and then he joined United. So, as a Liverpool fan or as a football fan, do you think this is a good transfer for Manchester United?
I've just been listening to Kenan Bhai's stories, and you know what, Kenan Bhai, you're a great storyteller. You make it up as you go along. Bro.
Oh, I see. Liverpool plus Man United. You're teaming up with your hated rivals against us. Wuzzy Lacy. I know Liverpool fans are more scared of City than they are of Man U. and that's
When
a
it
fact
comes
now.
to-
And
when it comes to
young
truth-
Coyes has now just proved it. Yeah, that's Bucci, Tumhare Bucci hai hum. So,
when it comes to truth, then we actually stand together. We are united for truth.
Very eloquent storytelling, Kinan Bhai. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it myself, but yeah, I'd love to meet up with you and listen to some more of your stories. The fact of the matter is that City, they must feel like the ugly ducklings. You know, they keep getting rejected. You know, by everyone they go for. That's the truth.
no, absolutely not. We have a very specific transfer policy. Have you
Oh,
noticed?
yes.
We're not going to pay over the odds for any
No.
player.
I've noticed
market
you pay
value.
100 million for Jack Grealish. Yeah, there's very, very not over the odds. You know.
No, it's not. If you look at this 100 million, who else? Lakuku. He went to Chelsea. Sorry, it's quite. Sorry, I'm in Sylhet and it's quite late at night here in Sylhet. Okay, I think we've got a 2-hour time difference even with Dhaka, it seems as well. No, Lakuku or whatever his name is, Lukaku.
Lukaku.
How much does he go? Listen, all the top clubs now realise, apart from Liverpool maybe, that you have to invest. You have to go for the top dollar player, you know, and it's a fact. It's an absolute fact. You know, it's all about winning trophies now. It is, isn't it? You know, you actually have to make sure that you've got the right assets with you to play with.
Exactly. Aning bhai, I want to bring you here, right? I mean,
Right.
this side, Ronaldo, right? He was flirting with City, right? The fact is, you know, he was open to go to City, right? But then we know what happened. Sir Alex Ferguson, all the players, they ringed him up and they talked and whatever. I mean, he came, he joined. So is this a win-win situation for Manchester United? And what
In many
impact?
ways. In more ways than one.
Right. What sort of impact you are expecting this Ronaldo to have, like in your team?
I would say this is an absolute win-win situation over here for Manchester United. Number one, I'm not even going into the game sort of thing. Let's stick to the marketing part. He's going to cost us, 65 million in 2 years or 3 years, right? With all this.
Yeah.
And already I think the short sales with that, the money is recouped. The moment he signed for, the news broke, the share price went up way too high. Right. So from a marketing point of view, definitely it makes sense. Signing someone like, and the prodigal son coming back home, that has a special effect there. And with this, you don't even have any prodigal son. Come on, mate. Who are you going to bring back? Who are you going to bring back?
Prodigal son. Oh.
Yeah. Who are you going to bring back,
But
mate?
listen, Daddy's not there anymore. Daddy Alex is no longer there. Now it's his,
Right.
now it's
He
his
has his
substitute
Uncle Ole.
teammate. Remember,
He has his uncle-
Ollie,
he has his-
Ollie what? Ollie
He has
Goody
his-
Goody
he has his-
Tushaw or whatever.
He has got his
You know.
Uncle Oli over there.
Uncle
much better.
Ollie.
Yeah, much better than.
He's older than
I would
Uncle
say.
Ollie, isn't he?
All right.
He's
He might
a
be.
young
That's
man.
right.
Older than
Okay, things
Ollie.
are
Ollie.
heating
Now,
up. Things
now,
are heating up.
now,
So
the
Anik
thing
bhai,
is-
as you were saying, so this is a win-win situation for United. And
Yeah.
okay,
And
so
the-
my question
his
is
goal
why Manchester United never went for him earlier, right? Why like this City rumor came, people were, why like United, like why did they just like went for
Right.
Ronaldo when City went for him? Why
You
did
see,
like, because he
the
was on the
moment-
market for a long time.
No, he wasn't in the market for a long time. The moment Allegri comes in, right? Everybody knows that Allegri and Cristiano doesn't have a very good relationship, right? And Allegri very clearly made it clear that Ronaldo is not going to be in his plans. So fair enough.
Mhm.
He wants to go to PSG and other. He's been club shopping. We have seen that particular one thing where he said that I'm not going anywhere, but actually he is trying to go somewhere, right? So the whole point is, a player like Ronaldo, if he drops his hat and says, I'm going to play for Baldfrot, I'm sure Baldfrot is going to grow his hair back to sign him. That's exactly what has happened. The flat in, you said, and they bloody fell for it. But interesting part is this. Again, this is my theory. I think it's Mendes' master plan. He used City to get Manchester United. I think Ronaldo, I don't know whatever went in there, but that's my theory. He said that I want to go back to Manchester United. They're not trying to take me. Make sure that they ask me. And whatever the best way, he offered to, even if I'm telling you something, this is something like this. If he is basically was offered to Liverpool, I'm sure Manchester United would have reacted the same way. But if he was offered to Arsenal, we wouldn't fucking bothered.
Okay, Quais bhai, I want to bring you here, right? When you see as a Liverpool fan that City is buying Grealish, Man United buying Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo, and you see the transfer window, like how does it feel as a Liverpool fan? Is it kind of like over? I mean, like there is like this thing among the fan base that maybe we could have bought a player, but Liverpool is not going for it. So, as a fan, how do you think about this?
Okay, I mean, there's a notion that the transfer window is one that where you can lose or win. There's a thing that we won the transfer window this year, or we've lost the transfer window, and that's only true at the end of the season if these transfers or the so-called superstar players work for you on the pitch and they do the business. So I don't buy the notion that the transfer window is a win or a loss thing. It's only what a team needs or it feels it needs to buy for itself. I saw Jadon Sancho play a couple of days ago for Manchester United, and big money signing. He looked completely lost to me, and I don't know how he's going to play, through the season. In terms of Liverpool, I know there's a lot of fans in total meltdown at the minute because we haven't bought many people apart from Ibrahim Karate. But the thing is, for me, we have to look at what our team achieved in the last 3 or 4 years. And this very same team won the league by almost 20 points 13 months ago. And it was because of injuries last year and the lack of squad depth that we had our problems. But these players are back now. And on top of that, we've got other players who have come in. Konate, we've got Thiago, we've got Jota, we've got a couple of young players coming in. So I think what's happened is because of these oligarchs and these Arab fake sheikhs and all these people coming into our country and just doing whatever they want, which is fine. But we are going under the radar, and people are not looking at us now and even our fans are questioning us, really, some of them.
Mm.
And I think going under the radar is not a bad thing, really, because our team is a good team, it's a solid team, and I think a lot of our players, maybe other managers like Pep and like Oli and like Thomas Tuchel, they would look at our players and they'd probably want them in their team. So I just need to look at the depth, the squad depth of our club, and you will see throughout the defence and the midfield and attack that there is not many places where you can buy another player unless it's Mbappe or Haaland that will come into our club and and get into the team. So we, in my opinion, I think we're strong, very, very strong. And I think on a serious note, maybe in an ideal world, I'd like one more up front. But you know what? If it doesn't come, I think we'll be in a good place. We're in a good place.
I have a question to ask you here.
Yeah.
Yes,
from an outsider's view, the way Klopp plays his team is very demanding.
Yeah.
And one key injury changes the season, as we have seen last year, right? And the demanding football, as always, you see that after the Christmas period, Liverpool gets fatigued and some bad results come in. So, as an outsider, I thought that Liverpool will be signing some not very expensive big star, but some squad players to bolster that in certain places. I don't know what is happening. This is something which is very baffling to me. I thought that Liverpool will be strengthening their rotation squad type with players, because one injury can just simply change.
So that's
totally agree. I mean, I totally agree with that because, looking at it from an outsider's viewpoint, I really expected Liverpool to make quite a few signings. Anik is absolutely right. Your first team, Liverpool's first team, is comparable to City, United, and Chelsea. But your second team, okay, and you need a second team in this day and age. It's not anywhere near. You got James Milner, who's had his last legs and all that. You just don't have the players. While City, we have got a very, very good bench. Have you seen our bench? It's superb. And I hate to say this, I think United have now got a reasonably very good bench as well. But I don't see it with Liverpool. I know what you're saying, Coys. It's very commendable what you're saying, spending that much money and all this. But I tell you, and he's right, Anik is right. Look what happened. Say Virgil van Dijk gets injured again, okay? Which, let's have a look. Oh.
No, I never wish injury on any player. Never wish injury on any player.
But
Coys, go back, Coys.
Kiran bhai, the question is, Virgil van Dijk is a world-class player. He's one of the best, if not the best defender in the world. So,
Okay,
for example,
Salah.
even in City, but what I'm saying is a player like that, if he gets injured in any team, they will struggle. If you see last year.
Last
Last year,
season,
KDB was injured for quite a period of time. They didn't miss it.
15 games? 15,
last
16
year-
games?
Guys,
They
I
have
think
had
last year
such a
we made
good
mistake.
bench.
Last year we
Quest
made a
bhai.
mistake. We sold Lovren, who was useless anyway, but we sold him, but we didn't replace him with another player, and we know that Matip is injury prone, and then
Exactly.
Joey Gomez also has his injuries, and Virgil, we know what happened to him. I think they're much better prepared this year. They've brought in Ibrahima Konate. I think Virgil is back, Joey Gomez is back, Matip's back, and they've also got Phillips in the background. In terms of, unless you're kind of like involved with Liverpool, and someone like me who's very deeply involved, we have to be realistic, and that's why I mentioned, jokingly, that we just don't have the financial muscle, the clout of the United, the City, and the Chelseas. That's the way our owners are, and that's how we've got to accept it. But within that, I do think that their model that's got us where it's got us to, in terms of a Champions League win and a Premier League win, we missed the Premier League narrowly by 1 point, not with 97 points. And this is the model that's got us here. So I do trust in that model. And in terms of midfield players, we've got a good we've got Fabinho and Henderson, and we've got Thiago in the first front. And behind that, we've got Naby Keita, we've got the Ops, we've got Elliott, we've got Curtis Jones. So then some young players also have to come through the system. I know we've lost Wijnaldum, but there's a thing that this process of just buying players. Now, if you buy, we bought Naby Keita for £54 million. Unfortunately, because of injuries, he's not managed to play much. But this year they've done a lot of work with him, and hopefully he'll be sound for the season. So if you've got players like Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, who are good players waiting to come through, and you buy another player in midfield, you won't give the pathway for these youngsters to come through. So that's what Klopp's thinking is, and he's a believer in giving opportunity to young players coming through. I kind of agree up front, maybe where one liked. Apart from that, if you actually look through our squad, we've probably got really top 17 or 18 players, and then after that, we haven't got 22. We just can't afford it, and that's how it is.
And Koisbhai, one more thing. What do you think about last year? All the teams played without fans, and there is people are saying that Liverpool or even United, they are they need fans in Old Trafford or even in Anfield. So do you think that having the fans back this year, this might actually help Liverpool, because they lost 6 home matches last year without fans?
Absolutely,
A
and
footnote over here. The
Yes.
empty stadiums didn't make any difference to City. They're used to it.
No, they're empty. They're empty anyway.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Annie. Yeah, I knew it. Okay. So that just shows how superb we are. Without any fans, without any, we can win.
Exactly. You're used to
Okay.
it. You're used to it, mate.
Kiran, right? You are. Some people say City is the best team to have ever played UEFA Champions League without winning it. Some people they say this,
Arsenal fans disagree.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about United. We will, Koisbhai, we will come back to Liverpool. Let's talk about United a bit. So, Anik bhai, you purchased a defender. You needed a defender. You purchased Sancho. You needed a right winger. Okay, good. You purchased Ronaldo. But there is someone called Fred who is still playing for you.
Oh yes,
But
that
as
is
a
what I'm
Manchester,
saying. You see,
as a Manchester United fan, right? I mean, what do you think about your midfield?
my
What's his
advice.
second name? What's
my
Fred's
ad-
second name?
Nobody
Smith?
knows. Nobody knows.
Right
We don't
said
know. I
Fred.
don't know.
Right said Fred.
Exactly.
You know.
Look who's sexy or something
It's
like
too
that. That's
sexy for your
song, right?
boots.
Too sexy for his boots.
I mean,
But
what was
anyway,
Pele's second name?
my advice,
What was
my
Pele's second
advice,
name?
my
Yeah.
advice to football managers: never buy a Brazilian called Fred. They are shit. Remember, there was this Brazilian striker, Fred,
Yeah.
in 2014, who,
Yeah.
for God's name, couldn't even find the post anywhere, and he played in the first 11. Right. So there is this. Okay, somebody has actually wrote the name Frederico
Pepe?
Rodriguez de Paula Santos or something like that. Whatever
Yeah.
his name is. Anyways, so forget
Were you
about that.
sorry, Anik, were you talking about Joe, J-O, City striker?
No,
Brazilian,
right.
remember him?
No.
From a few
There
years
was this
He was
Brazilian
so-
striker, mate.
Yeah.
I think it's called
Kiransa.
Pepe.
He played
Yeah,
the
was,
World Cup.
He
Anik
played
bhai.
in the World Cup 2014
Yeah.
and didn't score a single goal. A Brazilian number 9 playing in his homeland doesn't score a goal. Can you
What's
think
his
about
name?
it?
Sorry,
Fred.
Anik, what was the name? I didn't
Fred,
get it.
Fred.
Fred.
Oh, Fred.
Really
Oh,
big
your
guy.
Fred.
Not
Oh,
my
your
Fred.
Fred.
Not my Fred. Now my Fred cannot play even. My Fred, I'm telling you something. If I played in the same place, I would have probably done not lot worse than him.
Yeah. Well, my Khala could have done better as well.
Exactly,
He's
exactly.
75.
To,
You know what I mean?
to quote the great Jeff Boycott,
Yeah.
that his grandmother can run to twist around
Yeah.
all these bowlers and all that. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like that. So Fred, not that. The weakest point for United is the midfield, central midfield, defensive midfielder. Number 6. We needed a proper number 6. Kamavinga was available. I don't know. Probably there is something wrong with, not wrong, rather viewpoint. I was talking to Adit about this, that Ole and the Klopp, they have certain, what I would say, idiosyncrasy type thing, that they have their eyes fixed on that. I want that player. If I don't get him, I don't buy anyone in that stuff. If you remember, same thing happened with Van Dijk. In the first time, you guys tried to buy him. He wasn't coming here. There was this blunder and all that shit. But you kept waiting and then you bought him. Similarly, I think Ole has a specific player in his mind whom he wants to be his defensive midfielder, and he's waiting for the opportunity. That's the best guess I
Declan
can.
Rice.
Maybe Declan Rice. It's definitely not Sol Niguez now, from now what we understand. It wasn't Kamavinga.
Yeah.
So I think it was Declan Rice.
Exactly.
Anik, I agree with you. The players that you bought, pretty good, okay. But you know what? What gives me so much confidence that you're not gonna challenge for the top 2, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because of your coach. Everyone knows he is not an A-list coach. Now, if you had Pep or Klopp or what's his name, Tuchel there, the Chelsea
right.
coach, then
Yep.
I would have been worried. I really would have been worried. Yeah.
You guys
You
may
know?
say anything, but I am a big fan of Ole. Not because of his my club legend or something, but the way once you see the team he inherited from Mourinho, that was absolutely shambles. There was fight in the dressing room and everything. He has fixed that, and basically last year you said top 2. Last year with this broken team we went to top 2. This time we are going to give you a run for money. Not only us, the rest of
Right.
the teams too. Chelsea is
So-
going to be a
So,
big
Anik
shit.
bhai, there will be pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to win
Yep.
something this year, isn't it?
I'm sure.
And
I'm
if
sure.
he doesn't deliver, what next? Because this is a pretty good United team. You have spent a lot of money. You got your legend back. Varane is a world-class defender, a winner. Sancho is an exciting player, and you already have players like Greenwood, Rashford, and Pogba is in a very good form. So the pressure
For
is
a
on,
change.
right? So if he doesn't win, then what do you think United like? I mean, what?
I feel some sort of silverware will be coming home this year. Some sort
Okay.
of silverware.
So
It
so
will not
Kenan
be
bhai
the league.
disagree. What about Qais bhai? Qais bhai, what do you think about this United team?
I watched them on Sunday against Wolves, and Wolverhampton Wanderers absolutely ripped them to shreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that showed me everything. And
Yeah.
this is what I thought of Manchester United before, and nothing's changed my mind. You know, they just looked like a team devoid of any ideas, any tactical fluidity. And this is where, you know, because we don't really know what coaches do in the background, but coaches have a big role in terms of the setup, the tactical, how the team plays, the identity, the style. And Ollie's team just looked to me one of just bringing in people, you know, from left, right, and centre, and just putting them together on a pitch. Pogba looked lost
Yeah.
again. Fred looked all over the place. Wolves should have won 2-3-0. But so yes, one thing we all, apart from United fans, we agree on is long may you keep Ollie, because he's the greatest signing you've ever made.
We want him to. We want him to stay. We want him to stay. Stay at the
He's
wheel.
probably-
Ollie.
he's probably
and
the
also,
only manager-
it wasn't just the Wolves match. Apart from Leeds, who came out all guns blazing, you know, and they won 5-0. Again, was it Southampton?
Yeah,
Who did they
Southampton,
play?
yeah.
Southampton. Weren't convinced. You can tell there was no real style of play. Okay,
Exactly. I remember the first match of City this year, against whom they came all guns sort of like holstered.
Tottenham.
Excuse me.
All guns holstered.
Excuse me. 68% possession. 68% possession. 18 shots at goal. They only had 4 shots at goal, which they scored.
And the result was
Doesn't
1-0.
matter. We're going to get games like this.
the result was
We're going
1-0,
to
right?
counter-attacking
Sorry.
teams are going to win.
They came
Yeah.
all guns holstered, shooting themselves on their feet.
No. Yeah,
mate.
and it was also
Cheers, mate.
it was Spurs. Hold on,
Cheers,
it was
mate.
Spurs. It was Tottenham's cup final as well. Listen, I just saw a message from Ahnaf. Ahnaf was a Spurs fan.
Right.
A Bangladeshi
I haven't got a
Spurs
clue,
fan. Wow, I've never met a Bangladeshi
No.
Spurs
There
fan.
are two Spurs fans I actually know. They were sort of like from the very beginning. They were my contemporary. They supported Spurs for no fucking good reason.
No, there must be no fucking reasons for that. Anyway, he calls me Dada. How did you know? I am Dada. I'm a grandfather. I mean, Nana, Dada, Sasa. You know, I'm all that. Thank you. I think I'm Hindu now. I'm Hindu. I'm Muslim. But thank you for calling me Dada.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you knew I was a Dada.
So
Anyway.
we are getting some hilarious comments, and people want to ask you a lot of questions. So I will be at this moment of time, I want to bring a team which no one is representing today, and that is Chelsea. So I want to ask Kenan bhai, what do you think about this Chelsea team? Tuchel won the Champions League last year. They got this guy. You know, they had one of the worst striker. I mean, in terms of finishing, Werner. So they got this Lukaku guy, and now we are hearing there for Saul Niguez, and they might go for Jules Koundé, who is a defender from Sevilla. So what do you think about this?
Koundé is probably they're not getting him. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kenan bhai, I want to ask you: do you think that this year, like Chelsea can be a big threat for Man City for the title?
Well, first of all, the 2 players that you've just mentioned, I've never heard of them. Seriously, Saul or whatever. You know, I've never heard of these players. But then again, I never heard of that Thomas Tuchel or whatever his name is before. And you know what? I've been so impressed with him. And do you know something? One team that I'm worried about is Chelsea again. Honestly, they know how to play us. They've got what a number on us. And I think they're our major. We're still the favourites. Well, just about the favourites, not the clear favourites anymore. But Chelsea are definitely going to be in the mix. And to be honest, Lukaku, that was their missing jigsaw. It really was. And he had a very strong game against Liverpool. I mean, you guys, and I'm including you, Ajit, you're not neutral here. Okay. তুমি তো Liverpool supporter. আমি জানি. Those of you who are watching, please remember the host of this show is also a Liverpool fan. So there's 2 Liverpool fans, 1 Man United fan, and 1 City fan. Okay.
Just take
Yeah.
a look at the name of the page he's broadcasting from. Corner taken quickly.
Yeah,
That should be
my
indication
God.
enough.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, Anik. Yeah,
That should
thanks
be
for bringing
It's
that
that
up.
not
should
bad,
be
Yeah.
indication
Professor.
enough.
Yeah, well
man.
done, sir.
So anyway, coming back to what do I think? I'm very impressed, and like I said, I saw the game against Liverpool. Yeah, I really expected Liverpool to win it. In the second half, I thought it's only a matter of time that you'd score the goals. And I predicted 3-1 after the sending off. But you know what? I was so impressed with their defending. And even against us when they played us in the semi-final and when they played us in the final of the Champions League. But then again, I did think that Pep made a fatal error in playing Sterling that day. I think it just fell into their hands. Okay. So, yeah, I think they're defensively very, very sound. And they're not going to give many goals away at all. And now they've got a very good striker. Okay, but I can see them being right up there with City.
Right. Kois bhai, I want to bring you here. What do you think about Chelsea, right? Nobody,
I-
are they
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the favorites for
Chelsea,
you?
listen, I agree with Kenan by what he said. Chelsea, and the thing that really has made them stronger is that Champions League win. Now they really understand how to win things. And Premier League, as you know, it's all about consistency. You have to win every single week. And one of the games, if you remember, the last game of the season, Chelsea had to go away to Aston Villa and win, because
Yeah,
how it worked out was that if they lost and if Leicester had have won, then and had Chelsea lost the Champions League final, they would have been out of the top four. And that was
Yeah.
that was a really crucial game. And they
Yeah.
lost to Villa. So that shows you that they're not as mighty as you think they are. On paper, everyone looks phenomenal with all these names. In terms of Lukaku, he's not. I mean, everyone's waxing lyrical about this Lukaku guy, and I'm thinking to myself, what's so different about him apart from the extra 10 kilos that he's lost? There's nothing different. He plays with his back to goal. He pushes into you and he spins you and he scores. But he's been doing that ever since he's been in the Premier League. So I think there's a way to mark him, and it's not what Arsenal did the other week. It's you put two people on him, you get into him. But I think Chelsea, yes, as Kanambai said, defensively they're solid. That Rudiger is on drugs, isn't he? He's taken something,
Yeah.
because this guy he's an animal. But they're defensively solid. Midfield, I'm not too sure. Kante is an excellent player. He's obviously one of the best I've ever seen. But in terms of the other guy, Jorginho and whatever his name,
Kovacic.
yeah, they're functional players. They're nothing amazing, They were the weak links before, and even against Liverpool, that Jorginho was falling on the floor all the time. And it's this new ruling they've got where you can't fall on the floor with a light touch now. So,
but Coy's, you're right. Your analysis is absolutely right. Coming back on that, it is. Let's face it. It is a very thin dividing line between success and failure.
Yeah,
And they could have
yeah.
beaten the Europa this season. You're absolutely right there. But what I've seen with this Thomas guy, I can't pronounce his surname, is that he's improves players. He's
Yeah.
actually like Pep. Like
But by
Pep,
the
he
way,
improves
again,
players.
Kiran bhai, this is, I tell you something, Kiran bhai and Kois bhai, that is this something in the Chelsea DNA? I'm asking this question, that you will sack your manager in the middle
Yeah,
of the league,
good
somebody
point,
new will come
actually.
in, and there will be this new good manager vibe,
Yeah.
and he will lift the team. And you see,
Yeah.
the 3 times I see them playing in the finals and all that, all of them were interim things. Avram Grant,
Yeah.
then there was
Matteo.
Bob Di
Matteo.
Matteo,
Yeah.
Right?
and this Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
So is that something that basically, you see, Chelsea, they always get this brilliant guy as coach. He does wonderful from the middleweight to this, and then somehow he loses his way. But Thomas Tuchel was already in PSG. We've seen him there. He was also there with, I think, Borussia. He was with Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund, right?
Dortmund, yeah.
Yeah.
So he has been a good man manager. He makes players better. But the Chelsea DNA, the Chelsea style of play,
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
going to happen there.
To be honest, Anik, that's a very good point you brought out. Something I was going to even mention when Adit asked me the question. I mean, it's if you compare Chelsea to Arsenal, I mean, two London clubs. And remember, Arsenal are the biggest club in London, in our capital. Okay, Arsenal are far bigger than any other club, no matter what you say. But Chelsea have been, over the last 10 to 15 years, the most successful. And you're absolutely right. I can't put my finger on it of why, even if they sack a manager, the caretaker always comes in and wins a trophy.
Exactly, and lifts him. Lift the whole team.
Anyone would love that. Can you imagine Tottenham having a policy like that? They bring in anyone and they win a trophy. They've been trying God knows how many. They've never been anywhere near. They've not been anywhere near winning it. Well, only in the last, when they had Pochettino. When they had Pochettino, they seemed very close. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I think this is the only thing I'm going to agree,
isn't it? It's
amazing.
So this is the only thing. This is the only thing. Like Kenan Bhai agrees with Onik Bhai. Okay, we're having a wonderful discussion. I want to bring something else here, right? Let's talk about like teams outside of this, like these four. Let's talk about Arsenal, Kenan Bhai, as you like mentioned. They are on 20th position, and they have this guy Arteta as a coach. Can you recall a worse Arsenal team than this team? And what do you think is the main problem? Is it like the policy or is it the coach?
Well, first of all, Arsenal started the decline when they had Wenger in his final years. Wenger, it was like Ferguson, where mind you, there's a difference because Alex Ferguson was a serial winner. He did, even in his last season, he won the league, and that's the last time, which is almost 10 years ago that Man United was champions of England. But Wenger was lingered on for a long, long time. And they tried Lingard and all that. But you know what? I think it's right. It goes right to the top with the owners. Okay, I think they've appointed the wrong people. They've appointed a director of football. They've appointed, different types of. It's not just the coach. Remember, it's like because we've got at City, we've got two very good former Barcelona, executives who are running the show. Okay, and Pep looks after all the coaching, that's all. He doesn't really get involved. Obviously, they do discuss it. But with Arsenal, I think it's a really big job that whoever comes in now has got a big job. And like you said, look, they're the biggest spenders. Yeah. And, they bought White for 50 million.
50 million, yeah.
I mean, seriously. And yet United bought
Rafael Varane.
Varane. For how much did they buy him for?
Plus minus, it's gonna like cost them 40 or 39 or 40 million pounds.
Yeah. So for less,
plus add-ons. That's the
so less or almost the same price. They've got a defender like him, and yet Arsenal went for someone like White. No disrespect for him, but come on, he's not even in the same level as Varane. So I think the purchasing has been wrong. I think the coaching has been wrong as well.
This is something very common there, that English player and young player, they're always either being overrated or overpriced.
Yeah.
In this case, they're overpriced. It's about, if Ben White was not an English player, Arsenal wouldn't have paid more than I don't think 20 to 25 mil or something like that. So this is something, if you're English, somehow an extra 10 to 15 million quid gets stuck to your company.
And Qais bhai, I want to bring you here, right? We are talking about Arsenal, right? What do you think is the issue with Arsenal? They are like 20th. They're like bottom of the league. And the way they're playing, I mean, it doesn't seem really good this year for Arsenal.
I think Arsenal's problem and decline has been a very long one. It's not something that's happened, in the last year or two. It started in the times of Arsene Wenger. For me, and the fans were, unanimous in the sense that he was just there for too long, and he had all the power, and he thought that he could carry on. When he first came to the club, and what he did was revolutionary, and he changed their footballing brand, because in the old days, it used to be 1-0 to the Arsenal, boring Arsenal, and Wenger came in and he just completely revolutionized the style of football, the sports science, how they train, how they, he was amazing, and he was finding out all these, bargain players from all over, young African players like Vieira, Anelka, and he thought that he could carry this on, but he obviously couldn't. And then there's the players starting, their top players like Van Persie started jumping ship and going to United. And you know what? He should have left at that time, but he didn't. He had too much control, and they gave him too much power, and he carried on and on. He was like almost like a dictator type of guy.
Yeah,
and
he was.
By the time he left, unfortunately, he left them in such a mess that whoever came in, it was going to be almost an impossible task. And Mr. Good Evening, he came in and he couldn't speak English, and he messed up, and and then he looked like some, what's his name, the drug dealer from
Unai Emery. Unai
Emery. But he wins the Europa League every year.
He's
He has
the
won
best of Europe.
it 3 times with Sevilla.
He's like Pablo Escobar, isn't he? Good evening,
Good evening.
Well, do you know when if we go right back when we started buying players, when the Arab takeover took part.
When the oil money
Do you know who
came,
our biggest critic was? It was Wenger. He was Arsenal. They were complaining. Ferguson wasn't, because Ferguson made a comment. City will never win the league as long as I'm alive. Well, you're still alive, old man. You're about 155, and we've won the last 6 Premiership. He's 155 now, isn't he, Alex Ferguson? Oh, we'll never win. So Wenger was the biggest critic. Arsenal was they said, oh no. So guess what City did? We started buying all their players, okay? Adebayor, Clichy, Sanya, they're key players. There's some of their key players. And you know why we did that? Because Wenger was saying, oh no, they've just come with all the money. But we had to come with the money. Do you know why? We were a mid-table club. We were mid-table, okay? We had to spend that money.
Division?
People don't realise we had to spend that money. We didn't.
Cosmos, you missed Cosmos comment, Kiran sir.
He said, which division? You are a mid-table club, but which division?
Beshi Mationa. At least I was there. Our derby matches. Our derby matches were Stockport County. Have you heard of Stockport County? Any of you global fans, Bengali guys, have you heard of Stockport County? That was our rivals. Okay, they're only 3 miles away from us. They were our rivals at the time, and they beat us. As well. Anyway, that goes in history. But when it came to Arsenal, and guess what? Would you sell to your rival? Wenger allowed them to go. Wenger allowed Adebayor to go. He could have stopped them like Tottenham did with Kane. They could have stopped them, but they let them go. And Adebayor, Sanya, Clichy, Samir Nasri, guess what? Soon as they went to City, we doubled their pay, which was absolutely right. We had to. But guess what? They also won trophies. Samir Nasri, wasn't. Yeah. Look, they won trophies with City. That's at the end of the day.
I mean, Anik Bhai, I want to bring you here. This, like in EPL, we don't see like top teams selling to each other. But Arsenal sold Robin Van Persie, and I think Van Persie won the league for Manchester United that year.
Yeah.
So Arsenal, they forgot they were a big club, or they behave like a small club. I mean, what went?
I will tell you something, that the Arsenal that I used to be sort of very jealous of was when Bergkamp, Overmars, Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit, all these players together, when they were there, that was the slick passing.
Thierry.
Thierry is the next generation. That I'm talking about the right before them. Then Anelka and others came in, and their slick passing and attacking was so good. And I was, being a Manchester United fan, I was so jealous of them that, shit, what a team. Recently, what happened, that when they started I would say that the standard started declining. And number one was when Wenger went out. After that, same thing happened with Manchester United. When Sir Alex Ferguson, after all his years, when you go away, the style and everything changes. So here, I think Arsenal has lost the plot. They are trying to rebuild, and if you see that for last 4 years, probably every year, whoever becomes Arsenal's captain requests that next season he's leaving. This year, they have somehow managed to keep their core team together. That is Shaka, then
Aubameyang,
Aubameyang, Lacazette,
Lacazette.
and all that.
Yeah.
I still don't know why Pepe is playing. Pepe and me and Fred, we should form a team. They use this. Anyways,
Okay,
right.
so let's move on from Arsenal, to another club, Spurs, right?
Who?
Spurs. I mean, Tottenham.
Oh, just
right?
1 second. Just one thing about Arsenal. It's only
Yeah.
3 games gone. Still 35s and 105 points to be won. Too early to write them off. I would, as a very, what I would say, earnest Manchester United supporter, but as a football fan, I would love Arsenal to do well and be there in the vicinity, because that is where
Exactly.
the whole atmosphere starts, the rivalry. It won't be fun with Arsenal playing in Championship, where City belongs.
Oh my God! I mean, was that a compliment or that was a dig? Okay, whatever. We will.
What we were talking about, I'm the Arsenal Khotamatra, Marachta, City Khotamatra. Do you see how obsessed they are? Have
Yeah.
you seen these red whatever?
When it
They're
comes
so
to
obsessed
championship,
with us.
when it comes to Championship, it actually synonyms with CE, doesn't it?
Okay, okay. So let's talk about Tottenham, right? Like they had a very high profile coach, Jose Mourinho, right? And some people say that he destroyed Tottenham, right? Just like he did destroy Manchester United when he left. So what about this new Tottenham and Daniel Levy, the players that they have? Do you think that they're going to to somewhere, or they are in the right path with Nuno Espirito Santos? I mean, I want to ask this question to Quaisbay.
Time will tell. He was very negative in his last couple of years at Wolves. He did well, with what he had, seventh, and then last year I think he was 13th with Wolves. They was going backwards, but they did sell one or two of their players. I can't see Nuno Espirito Santos, doing any better than anyone else at Tottenham. They have bought a couple of players today, I think, and they've kept Kane. But the reason Kane wanted to leave in the first place because he knew he would have no chance of winning anything with Tottenham. Tottenham's best chance was when Pochettino was there with them, and they came close. And Pochettino asked them for a bit more, and they didn't do that. So that
Quaisbay, I want to interrupt here. Since Kane is still playing for Tottenham Hotspur this year, do you think that this opens up the championship? Because if City got Kane, to many people that was game over. So do you think that this Kane staying in with Tottenham levels things up and gives other teams some sort of chance?
I don't think so. City have always scored goals. They score goals every single season. They haven't got a striker this season. They've scored 5 and 5 in the last 2 games. They've always scored goals. With Kane, they would have scored probably more goals, probably in the key games, with the big games like against Chelsea and other, the direct rivals. But I don't think so. I think, it's a hypothetical question, which I don't know the answer for. But Kane staying at Liverpool, at Tottenham, probably is a good thing for everyone else, yes. But I don't think that Tottenham have enough to hit the top 4 this year. It's my direct
Okay.
answer.
See,
Yeah.
Cosby and Kenan Bhai, with City's attacking midfield, there are about 3 to 4 or 5 players who are capable of scoring 15 goals a season. Gundogan, KDB, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus, and
Mahrez.
We have
Mahrez. Right. So they never. This is something which I feel that even if City doesn't have a proper number 9, they are not going to. It's not going to happen that they will not be scoring. Even without a proper striker, City will always score goals.
But they just want to total them.
And
They want-
especially
they want
against
to-
low block teams, there is
Yeah.
no other team who's better than scoring goals than City.
And what Pep wanted was total, domination with Kane. That's what he was looking for. Complete
Exactly,
control
exactly,
and domination.
exactly,
And that's
exactly.
not always a good thing in the Premier League. So I think it's Kane not coming is probably not a nice thing for City, but for the rest of us, I think it's a good thing.
Okay, let's move on from Tottenham. We are talking about EPL as a whole. So let's talk about some other teams which are there and thereabout, like Leicester City. Like they were in top 4 even last year till the last match, and then they missed out. So what do you think about this Leicester City team? I want to ask Anik Bhai.
Leicester, West Ham, always will be on the fringe, I would say. Leicester City, especially with Brendan Rodgers, he's a good coach. He was your coach as well, right? The famous
Yes.
slip season was with him, right? Yeah. So
Get on
you see,
slip.
that's a dig at you guys.
Just have to bring it, right?
So you see, Brendan Rodgers is good for sort of like mediocre team. Especially very good. He can do that. But when it comes to big teams, no, he can't do that. Same with
So-
West Ham.
So you're saying he's a choker because he has done it so many times. Last year, the year before, even in 2014-15, he was there. He
Yep.
was about to get into top 4.
About
Or
to.
win
He's
the
always
trophy.
going to be about to guy. He's going to be about to guy. He's good in Rangers or Celtic, wherever he was. Wherever in the Scottish Highland he was playing with his Kilton or
Scottish.
whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
but he's the next. Anik, I think he's the next Arsenal manager. I really do. I think.
Really?
I think it's only a matter of time now that what's his name, Arteta, who's returning to City. Actually, he's going to be on number 2 again. He's an excellent number 2. Okay, and his
This
place.
is one question. Kiran bhai, I asked this question in the in our chat. You remember that?
Yeah.
What exactly Arteta did under Pep? Was he
Oh,
specifically used for setting up the cone or sort of like combing Pep's hair?
No, yeah, he used to bring the cones out and he used to
Exactly.
put them on the field
That-
and all that. No,
that was his only job.
To be honest, Arteta, it's like, do you know something? There's always been there's a difference between being a coach and a manager. Okay, I think Arteta is a better coach than a manager. I don't think he can manage, which Pep is very good at. And Pep is very good at coaching as well. But I think that Arteta falls short is that I don't think he can manage the players. I think he's one of these that if a player... Have you noticed... Listen, we're talking about Arsenal again. Have you noticed in the City game, Xhaka got sent off, okay, which he always does. He came off. He patted him on the back.
Should have
How-
kicked him on the back.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Pep doing that? Say Sterling got sent off for a reckless foul. Do you think Pep or Klopp or one of the top elite coaches would have patted him on the back? Oh, well done, son. You got yourself sent off. We got no chance now. Okay. I mean, friggin'
And
madness.
Just give you a little bit of trivia around number 2s. Brian Kidd, you both know and remember very well. Brian Kidd under Ferg was one of the best number 2s that's ever lived in the game.
Yeah.
But when he went to manage Blackburn Rovers for the
Yeah,
first time,
it's a very good
flopped,
example.
didn't he? So
Yeah.
I think Arteta is the
It is, yeah.
identical
You
kind of
just
player.
not. It's like you can compare it to organizations. Some organizations, like some of the banks, they've got excellent vice presidents, very, very good. When they become the CEO of the bank or the organization, they're not that good. It's just certain leadership traits that some people just don't have. They're very strong in one area, but when it comes to being a really all-round, manager,
And
coach,
the leadership
everything, you've
style,
got to be like
right?
that.
And going on for that leadership style, the patting on the back after he's let his whole team down by doing a
Yeah.
reckless tackle. That's
I mean,
not
I couldn't believe it. I
That's
couldn't
not
believe
all,
that he
that's
was
not
doing
all,
that.
that's not all.
What was it?
He's
Where
a,
did
he's a
that come
backhander,
from?
doesn't he? A slap round the
Yeah.
ear hole. That's what he needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is weird. So let me talk about some other teams. Kenan bhai, you have very good idea about this. Like I have talked to you so many times, and you really know about the English, clubs from different, championship and even below
Yeah,
that.
I do.
So,
Third
They used
division.
to play over there.
Fourth.
They're more at home in those years.
okay, maybe that's the reason, because City used to play. But
They've been to
what
all the
did
divisions, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about these new teams, right? Because we don't talk about them since they are not the top, dogs. But the new teams like a Brentford, right? Like, what can you say like about them? Like these new teams, Brentford, and there are some other teams who are coming up. So, like, I mean, is that the best thing about EPL, that even a club like Brentford with so many so little supporters and small stadium, that they can play the EPL? And would you say that EPL is currently the best league in the world, because we know what is going on in La Liga? Kenan bhai?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, do you know where Brentford is? Do you know where
Uh,
it is?
I actually was watching something, I forgot. I think it's in London. It's in London.
Yeah, but London is such a big city, Otoboro, Yeah, Brentford is a West London club. Right, about 3 kilometers away is Chelsea. Then you got QPR, which is about 2.5 miles away, and then 3 miles away you've got Fulham as well. They're all the West London teams, and they're the smallest of the West London teams. Okay, they're very small. They've got a fan base of not more than 15,000. Okay, hardcore fans. So basically, it's a small club. But we've seen that in the EPL over the years. Do you remember a club called Blackpool? Blackpool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they came up in, I think, 2009 as well. They had a really funny manager, Ollie. His name was Ollie as well. Yeah, Holloway, Ian Holloway. Sorry, but he's known as Ollie. Yeah, and you know what, Brentford, again, all it needed was a strong coach. It's like Huddersfield. They appointed a German manager. They didn't appoint. Usually, the Championship teams have English managers or British managers, but they've now buckled the trend. And recently, we've been having likes of Brentford coming up with a fantastic German manager. I think he's German. Yes, he is. And then we've had Huddersfield coming up, who are also managed by Wenger, who's a German manager. So we've seen them come up, very well organised, too good for the Championship. But unfortunately, they're going to be more like where they might be too good for the Championship, but they're not good enough for the Premiership. But like small teams have proven, if you looked at Bournemouth stayed in the Premiership, I think, if I'm right, for about 6-7 seasons. They stayed with Eddie Howe. Very small team, but they were well organised. They had a tight ground. No one likes to go. Every time I went to Brentford in second division matches or third division matches, I never liked it anyway. It was so small, the old ground. The fans are right on top of you. They're right, you can see the players and the fans. Oh, yeah, get off, you dirty northern bastard, or whatever, all this. And so, these clubs have come, and you know what? It's fantastic for them. They get paid so much. Even the parachute money is there as well. And you know what? They've also bought well. They've also purchased well as well. And again, I can see Brentford being in the Premier for the next 2-3 seasons. Okay, if they continue with this, they drew, I think, with Aston Villa as well. So they've already got getting the points in. Okay, and I think it's excellent to see.
My question was, does this make EPL the best league in the world because of this sort of stories?
Listen, Adi, you know very well, without doubt. You know what? The Championship, which is the old first division, the old second tier. Yeah, second tier. Do you know something? Some of those teams will give, say that half the La Liga a good match. They'll beat them.
Money. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They'll beat half the Italian league, the Serie A. Do you see? So because the money from the Premiership, so much money is going into the Premiership over the last decade that it trickles down. It trickles down into lower level teams, especially the Championship, where Brentford. You see, have a look at the Championship. who were relegated last season, you'll see them right up there. Unless a disaster happens, they can go right down to the third division again. It all depends on what type of organisation and manager has. So to answer your question, Adi, I would say most definitely, and that's why we have the best league in the world. That's why, we have the top players now playing. Okay, in the league. If you look
Exactly. Kiran bhai, just to interrupt you, Onik bhai, I want to bring you here. Look at La Liga. I mean, they are fighting with Real Madrid, Barcelona. Messi left, Ronaldo left to like 1 year back, and now he's back in EPL. Like, who is there in La Liga? Who is going to watch La Liga? Why like people would watch La Liga? And would you say that
If you are
like
talking
now
about
you
Bangladeshi, are you asking about me about the Bangladeshi supporters
overall,
of La Liga
overall, yep.
or the Spanish supporters of La Liga?
Bangladeshi. Let's talk about Bangladeshi
Nobody.
fans.
Very few will pretend that they are watching La Liga, but they won't. Like, I'll tell you something. Just continuing with Kiran sir's line. I just watched the Rennes versus PSG match because,
Right.
hands down, this time, if Cosby was saying that there is no winner in transfer business, but this year definitely PSG is had the best transfer window ever. Right?
Yeah.
They just bought all the players for free except for probably one, and everything is good. I was just watching this game between Rennes and PSG where Messi is playing. Believe it or not, the game was so slow. The intensity in the Premier League games, the English League games, are like way too high, and I'm used to watching that. When I was seeing that these French league players, and I was thinking,
Oh, yeah.
oh my god, it's
They're just
boring. It's
walking
like
around,
watching
right?
the paint. Exactly, it's like watching the paint dry. So similar thing is going to happen to La Liga. Yes,
I
because
saw
of-
something. I saw something on Iqbal that after the match, the goalkeeper of Rain, he came with his kid and he
Yeah.
gave the kid to Messi and
Kid
he
to
was
Messi.
taking a picture, right? So it's like, oh, these guys are an idol, It's like they're just happy to see him, And
Yeah.
but competition is something else.
Exactly. So,
so,
this is another reason that PSG never wins any UCL because they are used to play. You see, you will play with teams like Forashganj, and then you will go and face a team like, say, Manchester United. This is not going to happen. This is where PSG always loses out, right? No
okay,
matter how
Kois,
good they are.
right, Kois,
So
I
La
want
Liga
to
is
bring
going to suffer the same fate.
Right.
It's going to
Because
make
I
the
want
dream
to I want to bring you here, right? We know like a lot of things are going on. Like if we see outside football, outside EPL, we see PSG and Real Madrid. They are fighting over Mbappe, and I know many fans in Liverpool. They like whatever they were fed these lies that maybe we are going to buy, Mbappe. But I have this question and I haven't got a proper answer from anyone. Like which one is more stupid? It's like bidding 200 million for a player who is going to be free after 10 months or even after 4 months, I would say, or not accepting 200 million bid who is going to be free after like 6 months. I mean, which one is more stupid? I mean, does it make any sense to you?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And to a normal club or a business person or anyone in any walk of life, 200 million euros a bid, taking that or leaving that, and then potentially losing someone on a free in 10 months' time, it is stupid. But there's a but here. These people are Arabs, and I know Kinan Bhai has lived in the Arab world, and I travel often to the Middle East, so I know these people quite well. They have so much money that actually 200 million euros is not a lot for them. And I'm not exaggerating, and Kinan Bhai will back me up. These big sheikhs, like the Qataris or the Sheikh Mansours, 200 million euros is not a lot of money for them. So out of spite, they can easily say, no, we're not going to give you him. I know it sounds really, really crazy,
It
but they
is.
don't care. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It's all speculation. There might be something going on with contractually, or Mbappe may say something like, I might put a clause in. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of who's being stupid, either or. Why is Real Madrid, bidding 200 million when they can sign him for free in 4 months' time. So I do not know. But in terms of, to answer half of your question, it's Arab owners. They don't care. They've got Qataris who've got World Cup next year. If they have Mbappe and they win the Champions League with Neymar and Mbappe, and it just looks good for them. So if that looks good for them, then they put a good show on in Qatar. That's
Right.
enough. It's worth 200 million.
Right, Kenan bhai, is it about, like, we know we are going to talk about Champions League draw as well. We know this year Manchester City and PSG, they are in the same group. So is
For the
it
first time,
like, is
City
it
has made
more than
some good
football?
teams.
Yeah.
Kenan bhai, is it about, like, politics? Is it about power? Like, more than football now with Man City and PSG? They just want to beat each other. It's like two state-backed club now. They are fighting on top of football. It seems like that.
You know, I can't deny that, to be honest, fully. But I don't think it sort of, Pep doesn't think about it. The supporters don't think about it. The fan. I know that most of the fans I know, as part of the supporters club, we don't even think about it, to be honest. All we know is that we're Manchester City. Yeah, our owners are Arabs, and as you all know, the geopolitics of that region, UAE is almost at war with Qatar, and as you can see, Qatar is building higher skyscrapers now than Dubai, and Dubai is hitting back with more skyscrapers. You've got this thing, and now it's gone global, where Qatar bought obviously PSG, and obviously prior to that, we got, and I'm going to see that. You're going to see that coming up. Dubai, there's word that the Dubai Wealth Fund will also maybe transfer.
So it would be fascinating if Saudi Arab now comes in and buys a club like Liverpool, or maybe Manchester United or whatever. It would be fascinating then. 3 Arab tickets.
No,
So-
but I don't. Should I tell you why it's not going to happen? I tell you why Saudi Arabia is not going to happen. It's all to do with politics. Saudi Arabia are very, very, very close ally of the UAE. Okay, now the UAE owns City. They're going to request Saudi Arabia, do not buy Liverpool, and they've already had that conversation. If you buy Liverpool, you're gonna, and they were very interested in Liverpool. In fact, before buying City, I'll be very honest, Sheikh Mansour is more interested in Liverpool, obviously, because of the history and all that. The reason why they chose City, because we were only worth 50 million. 50 million.
You were cheaper.
Yeah, we were cheaper. But I was living in Abu Dhabi and Dubai back in the 90s. Sheikh Mansour's Sasak Dubai was my sponsor at Bradford University. Sheikh Nahyan. Sheikh Al Marari. Yeah. And so I remember telling him at that time. Remember, I told you this story before. I was telling him, "Well, why do you invest in Man City?" And he said, "Manchester City." And he goes, "Manchester." And I said, "Yeah, Manchester City." And he goes, "Yeah, very good team. Beckham, Giggs. I like it. How much?" I said, "I'd rather not swear alive on television." Okay. I said, "No, Richard Dunn, all the great players that we had," and they never heard of it. They seriously did not hear it, because he bought the Premiership table. I cannot see Manchester City on the Premiership. Which number are they? And I said, "No, we're not even in the first division, third division." Okay, I had to explain that. Okay, and I felt quite embarrassed, I've got to tell you. But I did say, "Look, you can buy City for 14, 50 million. I said at the time. Okay, the rest is history. So you can thank me. City can thank me for being the first to promote.
So Anik bhai, I want to bring you here. Like, if this is the case, if on top of football we have Qatar and Russia. I mean, if you include Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, and like UAE, what does it mean for Liverpool or Manchester United or other clubs?
Liverpool,
So what happens?
United. Liverpool and Manchester United are owned by Americans. What's the difference?
Yeah.
These guys have more money than us. That's it. We are, you see, the very few clubs are actually British owned now. Like only Daniel, I think in the top six, it's only Spurs. From even Arsenal is American. Our owners, Glazers, are there from America.
Liverpool.
Your FSG, right? So you see, the English football ownership has changed. Sort of like the landscape has changed. It's no longer that Martin, as people like Daniel Levy can single-handedly do that. So the spectrum has changed a long time back. The moment when actually he came in, Roman Abramovich came in, the whole spectrum changed right from there. And he showed the way that, it's Moneyball.
Yeah,
You pay money and you own that.
and it, just on that point, sorry, you're absolutely right there. But I remember, going back where they said, "Oh, football's going to be ruined because of Manchester City. They're going to win everything all the time." Like Scotland, it's Celtic or Rangers, no one
Rangers,
else. Okay, but you know what? Competition is very good for the other club because they get better. Liverpool got better because of City, okay, because of the spending they were done. Liverpool said, right, hold on, if we want to win the league, we've got to get the very best goalkeeper and we've got to get the very best central defender. That's what they did. And lo and behold, the following year, they won the European Cup. The following year, they won the Premiership. So, all this gloom and doom, and what was your previous question about how great the Premiership, how great the Championship, the money's flowed in. We should be blessed that the Premiership and the English football is at an all-time strength, and all the top players have come to our clubs, to our league.
What? There was a time when English football in the 80s and 90s, we were the poor men of European football. It was embarrassing.
Exactly.
No one wanted to come to England, and the fact that, I will be honest that the money that City have, and United even to a certain extent, and Chelsea, I'm a little bit jealous because I want my team to spend, the cash.
Yeah, like that.
The problem is, like Onikbai said, our owners and City's owners, there's no difference. They're just different countries. No. They have just as much money, but they decide to spend it on elsewhere. Our owners spend a lot of money on baseball, huge amounts of money, but they don't want to invest as much. But City owners want to spend all of their money on football. So, but in terms of, yes, it has. I have to agree. It made the Premiership the spectacle it is today. It's amazing, and long may it continue.
And you see, it's not only that. Even there is owners from Thailand, right? Basically, I think City was owned by a Thai guy first.
Would be a Thai guy. It was a Thai prime minister.
Yeah, that corrupt guy.
It wasn't a normal,
you see, it's very
lady boy or something like that. A Thai guy, The way he said that, have you noticed? It was like a gig, a Thai guy, like one of these massage parlors guys. Yeah,
I didn't say a Thai lady boy at this point. I didn't say a Thai lady boy. That's who that's Anyways. What I'm saying, you see, this City thing has a very interesting thing with this crime and stuff. Do you see that? The Thai prime minister accused of corruption, and now we have got Mendy. Are we going to talk about Mendy? How does it feel to own a player like Mendy?
Hold on, he hasn't been convicted yet. A man is innocent before convicted. Okay, and we've just given him. It'll be a great free transfer. We were trying to get rid of him anyway, but this time to the local Manchester prison. It's not very nice, actually. Do you know what I mean? No.
So let's bring that. It's a very interesting topic. Guys, right? You are someone who is involved with, all these law and all this stuff, right? So what happens to Mendy? How on earth he kept on playing for Man City while he was under investigation?
Well, I mean, like Kinanbai said, I can't say too much because it's still an ongoing trial and case, so I have to be careful what we say. But as Kinanbai said, the British law, the way judicial system, the way it works, that you are presumed innocent until you found guilty beyond reasonable doubt in a court of law. So, these were all allegations that were made, and they were investigating, and he was probably released under investigation. And whilst you're released under investigation, they may give you bail conditions, and these conditions will be probably not to go near, the victim or certain types of people, but it won't stop
Yeah.
you from, doing your job. So City thought, he's our asset, he's our investment. Why shouldn't we, allow him to play? But obviously now it's gone much further, and it's not right. Well, he can't. He's not being given bail now, so he's behind locked doors at the minute, bars at the minute. He's been denied bail, so the trial I think is in September the 12th or something like that.
Yeah, and if he's denied bail, obviously he's in jail. He's
jail,
actually
behind
locked
bars
up.
now, yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
City already
behind bars.
terminate the contract? I
They
think
did.
City,
No.
I think
No,
City
we've
has
suspended him.
Suspended him, right?
Oh,
They
suspended.
suspended.
Yes, suspended.
Yeah. Well, we can't. Again, it's Coyce will know more of this, because if we now terminate the contract, we're assuming that he's guilty.
He's guilty,
Because
yeah,
we don't know. These girls might have just put these allegations in.
Yeah.
There's been so many cases, as you know, in England
Shed
that
evidence.
where young men have been gone through hell,
Yeah.
where they've been.
Is that one of the reasons
Right.
that
We have
Kerem Sir is
seen
in Dhaka
Greenwood.
now from London
Yeah,
Hey?
we have seen Greenwood and Foden, right? Like
for all
we
these
saw
false
a scandal,
allegations?
right?
Sir?
Yeah. Acha, so I want to continue this conversation. I'm pretty sure all the people who are watching it, they would love to continue, but we have to finish it, because it's getting late night. So the last topic that I want to bring is the Champions League this year. You all saw the draw, right? I want to bring Koyes Bhai here. Koyes Bhai, Liverpool, they're in a tough group. People are saying it's a group of death. What do you think? Are you confident? And this year, can Liverpool do, like what they did in 2018 and win the Champions League?
Very, very confident. Listen, Liverpool are a team that is esteemed in history with the European Cup, and whether we like it or not, this is all European teams dread to play Liverpool in Europe because of who we are and our history. We're we've won the most European Cups in the England, So yes, we have AC Milan, but they're not the AC Milan of the 90s. They're
Very easy to beat. Yeah, this AC Milan is nothing.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid, again, yes, they won La Liga last year, but what is La Liga nowadays? I fancy our chances with, La Liga against Madrid. And what's the other team? Porto. Well, we beat Porto every season, don't we? So I don't think for us it's a group of death. In fact, to the contrary, I think it will make it sharper, because if we come through that group, I think it will just keep us on our toes, and so when quarterfinals come, round 16 comes, I think we'll be really, really primed and ready to go. So I'm not scared. You have to beat the best to be the best, and all of them games will be enjoyable games.
So would you say Liverpool have a better chance in UCL than Premier League this year?
No, it's the start of the season. It's difficult to say anything right now. You have to be lucky throughout the season with injuries, especially our club, because we just haven't got the depth of the squad with 22 equal players. So if we have an injury-free season, then yes, we have our history in Europe is second to none. We have a chance in Europe, but so do other clubs. Chelsea, City, they have a chance. I would say we have a good chance in the European Cup, and Premier League is always going to be our main bread and butter. I would rather have the Premier League over any UCL. I know in Bangladesh people like the UCL more, but that's just a cup competition for me. I know it's great. For me, it's league, and I want that 20th league back.
Right. Anik Bhai, last question to you. We know this Manchester United team, they have bought really good players and they have a good pedigree. So do you think, I saw somewhere you wrote or whatever, I was talking to you, you're not confident, like this year in UCL?
You see, in UCL, I think, again, this time, I think it is going to be Bayern Munich. My gut feeling goes this way.
So
and
do you
PSG
think
is not there? United will probably go up to highest up to quarterfinals or semifinals. That's it.
Okay. So
that's my prediction.
Is it because of the lack of experience of this United team, in UCL, or lack of experience in the part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
How can I say there's lack of experience in the team? We have got Varane, who's known as Champions League Varane. We have Cristiano Ronaldo, who has won these two experienced players are there. But given everything, as I said, not having a proper defensive midfielder is going to hurt us very bad. Very bad.
But is
Okay,
it? Can I just ask?
yeah.
With United, we talk about all these individuals all the time, and I always ask this question: is it not a little bit more than that in football? That you buy a group of players, whoever they are, but you need to set them up in a certain way so that you bring the best out of your collective unit. And United,
why-
to me, they just look to me like a bunch of individuals, and sometimes they turn up and they look amazing, but equally on other days they're just as bad. No, it's awful. There's just that young.
Exactly. At the inconsistency, you see Pogba can be world class one on his day, and the other days he'll be shaped. Bruno goes missing in some games, right? But there was this lack of leadership, I believe, which now probably with Ronaldo over there might be done. But again, I'm telling you, see, we have on paper we have wonderful forward line, like with Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo, Cavani, Bruno. Everybody is there. The defense is rather solid with Dean Henderson and De Gea, and then you have Luke Shaw. You have got you've got what's his name, Maguire. You've got Varane. You've got AWB. But the ball from there to take there, that is something absolutely missing. And I see Tahlina. Hi Tanya, how are you? United fans always get excuses. Buy them all the top players of the world and they'd still come up with something. Yeah, we'll come up with all the championships. Like you have never won before last year. Sorry, mate, that'll be like year before last. You see, I know Tanya very well. She's a very good friend of mine, so I can.
Okay, so no problem. Good banter. Kiran Bhai, last question to you. Every year, like bookies, they come up with these things and they say Man City is the favorite. And every year, your fantastic coach, Pep Guardiola, he does something obnoxious, abnormal, and absurd. So, will it be your year this year? You got Jack Grealish.
Jesus Christ. The next year will be our year was your tagline. How come you have transferred it to Kenan Bhai? Sir, I supported you. I supported you.
You did? Okay. No, I think, I am in the school of Coys here. I'm being from England, I much prefer, to be honest, the Premiership. I would rather be champions over Manchester United, Liverpool and all that, than be champions over Real Madrid, Barcelona, young boys. Young boys, is that a team? Sounds like a team from Thailand, young boys. Anyway,
your previous owners.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that was nasty. Okay, you got me back there. Okay, so basically, the way I look at it, I think we'll go the one step forward in the European Cup, the Champions League. I think we'll win it this time. I think Pep will be very determined now. Okay, and let's face it, the owners want that more than the Premiership.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I mean, that's very true. Actually, they want this. We've never won the European Cup. Obviously not. We've won the European Cup Winners' Cup, which I remember very clearly back in 1970, which is 71. During Bangladesh Liberation War, we were winning the European Cup Winners' Cup at that time. So basically, to be honest, it's going to be tough. It's going to be European Cup always. It could be a fine dividing line, an offside goal. Remember the Tottenham match a couple of seasons back. See,
and you always have Pep, right? You always have Pep. He's still there, right? So
yeah.
you don't need
things overcomplicated in the final and lose.
Exactly. I mean, so last topic. I want your prediction for this year EPL and Champions League. So we'll start with Kois Bhai. Who is going to win? I mean, I want your top 4 teams in EPL. I know it's difficult after 3 games, but just make a prediction.
I'm gonna go. I know a lot of people are saying Chelsea are the favourites this year, but I'm going to be a traditionalist, and I'm going to say that the ones that won the championship last year, they're always going to be favourites for me, and City will be the favourites. But I think it will be neck and neck between us and City. It has been for the last few years, and this year no different. I think if we have a bit of luck, will pick them. If whoever beats City becomes champions, and I think City will be second, Chelsea third, and I'm sorry, Anik by United will be fourth.
Okay, Anik bhai, your prediction.
I'm just going to go with top 4. I'm not going to name any.
No, you have to. You just can't skip this, right?
Oh, I actually, when you asked that question, I planned like these 4 are not going to be in the top 4, like Arsenal. Anyways, let's forget about that. I'll go with United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. These are in top 4. The order for me, Chelsea looks to be favorite, with City second, Liverpool third, United fourth. There you go, guys. Bhai. I just
Wow.
tweaked a little
Wow.
bit.
Oh
And
my God.
champion
At least you guys
for-
agree on something, you know?
And by
United.
the way, you can
Really?
ask one of your supporters, Shanto, that whatever I predict always goes the other way.
Yeah, the reverse psychology. What are you doing?
Kiran bhai,
And-
what do you think?
Obviously, I'm going to be a bit biased. I'm going to say City number 1. Okay. I think Chelsea will be second. Number 3, I'm going to say Liverpool. Okay. And number 4, I'm going to say Leicester City.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God,
And I
he's
think
saying
Man
the best.
United will finish 5th. Right? You're going to scrap it out with Leicester for that 4th place. It's going to be difficult, but good luck, Anik and your boys. That's all I can say.
Okay,
140 years of club history, no UCL. Such life is bad.
okay, and there
Thank
you
you,
are.
Tanya.
Okay, I have a prediction to make. I genuinely think that, like Man City is going to win the Carabao Cup. They always does that. But other than that, it's
What's wrong with
really
the Carabao
difficult.
Cup?
Yeah, and maybe some sort of community shield, but it's really difficult. This is gonna be one of the best season, right? I've been watching football for a long time as well, not like you guys, but I think 3 teams, especially Man United, Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, they'll be really close. So almost we're at the end of the show. Thank you guys. Thank you, Anik bhai. It was wonderful to have you, and all the fans, they want you, to come and talk. This is a fabulous, guest, or group of people that we had today. So thank you, Anik bhai. We want you to be back to our show maybe next week or week after that. And it's always good to have you. You always bring that spice and that feistiness, and this banter, which makes Kenan bhai really.
না বহের মন একটু খারাপ হয়ে গেছে because আমি কইছি ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড ফার্স্ট নম্বর হইব
I'll tell you something, Kenan bhai. Being a lawyer, I'm used to listen to bullshit all day. And I really don't appreciate it.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot you were a lawyer. No. I mean, Manchester United side number aibo. I don't want to get to Dhaka Central Jail, next week.
Okay. And thank you, Kenan bhai, as always, right? You're a wonderful, wonderful person, and you light up our show all the time, whenever you come. So thank you, Kenan bhai, and we hope to see you in our future shows as well. And Qais bhai, I know you're very busy. You're very, I know these two people, Manchester people, they were fighting with each other, but you were you were really great, and thank you for your insight. And I want, all of you, Kenan bhai and Qais bhai and Anik bhai, I want you to come to our future shows, and talk about football, because we learn as a fan, as a supporter of different clubs, we learn a lot from all the senior, fans like you guys. So thank you very much. It was really, really awesome. Thank you everyone for joining. And there are a lot of comments, I couldn't read. We couldn't answer your question because of the time constraint, but hopefully in future, we will definitely try to read out all of your comments. And thank you very much. I would like to finish the show here. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.